Hi guys, this is Deanna.
Hey, hello, classmates. This is Brett, and we forgot what we were doing for a second.
I wasn't paying attention.
It's okay.
As usual.
That's what makes you perfectly you.
Oh, or imperfectly me, right?
One of the two. One of the two. So, Teach, how was your week?
It was a good week. Went and visited the girls in Mason. And had a good, relaxing week.
It has been awesome, hasn't it?
It has. It really has. This is, I think, the first week, holiday week, that I tried to relax.
Did not do any work for school. Did do your college work because you had assignments due. Mm-hmm. Thanks for the break, Lamar. But as far as for the school district, this is the first time in a long time I can remember you not doing lesson plans. I'm like, girl, this is a holiday. Take a break.
I know. But guess what? Today, all got to be done. Tomorrow starts it all over again.
The mad dash to Christmas.
Mad
break.
dash to Christmas.
3 weeks?
3.5 weeks, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I know, I'm on the countdown.
Yes, ma'am. I'm proud of you. Because while you were down in Central Texas visiting the world's greatest granddaughter, you put on your big girl britches and drove all the way to San Marcos.
Yes. On I-35, it was crazy. Well, not really. Reminded me a lot of Amarillo.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's literally what it reminded me of. But we made it there and back.
In one piece.
In one piece. So, you know, I had a good navigator. At 8 years old, she knows where she's going.
You want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
All right. So, for those that don't know, my dad, a.k.a. the legend, was in the hospital a few days last weekend while Teach was out of town. And so my brother and I was in the hospital room visiting with him, and he asked where Deanna was, and I told him she was down visiting the world's greatest granddaughter and her family. And he was like, "She's 7 now, right?" I was telling somebody the other day she's 7. I said, "No, sir, she is 9." And then we got to telling a few stories, and I was like, "Wait a second." Because I remember telling him that Talia was upset when the world's greatest granddaughter was born, because just a week later she turned 21, and because just having a baby the week before, she couldn't drink, but yet she's legally old enough. And I was like, wait, the math isn't mathing. Okay, she's only 8. I was getting her older than...
Yes, don't age either one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They will forever be 8 and 29.
Can you believe we're old enough to have a 29-year-old daughter?
Yeah. I've done the math several times.
It just don't feel possible.
What is crazier is that on my hallway at work, there is literally, I gotta mentally count it again. But there is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teachers that I can be their mamas. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like,
And yet you got to go to them to be the adult.
I got to go to them for help. But at least I'm okay with that.
Boom. Boom. All right, you ready to get started?
Yeah. All right, class is ready, I think.
The more you know.
The less that you need.
This week's The More You Know is going to be more of an English lesson.
Okay, like grammar?
Mm-hmm. Like A, E, I, O, and U's.
Okay, vowels, yes, yeah. Grammar. Okay, got you.
Rhythm is the longest English word without a vowel.
Okay.
RHYTHM.
Oh. Okay. That's interesting. That is going to be filed into that cabinet of...
Useless knowledge.
Yep. It's getting kind of full.
I believe
I
me.
may have to purchase another filing cabinet.
All right, Teach. So we're doing true crime this week.
Yes! My favorite!
And everything has to have a beginning.
Well, yes. True.
I mean...
They just don't come out killing, so, you know.
Yeah, John Wayne Gacy wasn't the first murderer.
No!
And today's topic is going to be near and dear to your heart.
Ooh, it is. Ooh.
Today we are talking about John Billington.
No way! I'm famous!
I'm
famous!
The man that committed the first murder in the new colony.
Yes.
And if you can't tell by her reaction, Teach's family tree is traced back to him.
Yep.
Thanks to Ancestry.com or DNA. Whatever, and family research.
Family research. Aunt Modena. I have the family book that traces it all the way back.
Here in a little while, we're going to talk about a couple of other famous people that he might be traced, or not might be, is traced back to.
Sweet. I'm famous!
John Billington was born sometime in 1580.
Okay.
And he passed away either September 30th or October 1st, 1630. He was one of the signers of the Mayflower Compact.
Yes, his name's on it.
His name's on it.
His name is on it.
The Mayflower Compact bound the signers to obey the government and legal system established in the Plymouth colony.
Yes. And where did they get that idea from?
I don't know. You teach me something. Where did they get that idea from?
England. Where were they coming from?
Plymouth, England. Okay.
Where do you think all of the things came from? I mean, that's all that they knew.
Sure.
Was that line of government.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And you can't go somewhere where it's all crazy and there's no government system, there's no judicial system. I mean, it's all free and crazy, and you got to have order.
Or you're going to have murders.
Or you're going to have like Lord of the Fly type thing happening.
Exactly. There has to be law. Mm-hmm. So, John traveled on the Mayflower with his wife, Ellen or Eleanor. Every time I saw her name, it was spelled ELIN/ELINOR. So it's either Ellen or Eleanor.
Okay.
And their two sons, John Jr., who was age 16, and Francis, who was aged 14.
Oh my gosh. I got a story about that one too.
Yeah, I got a couple down also because being the first murder, surprisingly, they didn't have Wikipedia back then, so they couldn't go and type. So there's not a lot of information about the murder, so there is a lot of back information about the family in this episode. So,
but does it tell you anything about it? Like,
yeah, there is some. There is some information. Yes, ma'am.
Cool. I'm famous, people.
The origins of them are unknown, but Francis, the youngest son, is listed in the records of Spalding, Lincolnshire, England, where he is named one of 3 heirs to a lease for 3 lives. Now, what is a lease for 3 lives?
I'm going to say that you had to up your kids for land.
The person taking the lease would nominate 3 people, and the lease would not expire until all 3 people had passed away.
Oh.
So
basically it's a will.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say I had a lease of land, and I would name, because you can't name women.
Yeah, because we were just...
You got to keep the food on the table at home.
Yeah.
So I would name my buddy Chris. I would name...
Well, don't they have to be in the family?
No.
They don't? Okay, I got you. Huh.
I would name my buddy Chris. I would name my buddy Kevin. and I would name my buddy Jeremy. And that lease would not expire till. So if I passed away, it would go to Chris. He passed away, it'd go to Kevin. He passed away, it'd go
so
to...
what happens if Chris says no? I'm gonna.
Well, then I'd find somebody else.
Well, no. What I'm saying, well, you're dead.
Oh,
So Chris says no. I want my son to have it.
he can't.
Legally, he can't.
You're right. I'd already, because the lease was originally mine,
Well, who's keeping up with the paperwork?
the court system.
Well, who says that things doesn't happen?
I don't.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like it
I've never
happens.
lived in England.
I mean, it happens.
I'm sure it does.
Take things all the time, but maybe there was more of an honor system back then. Okay, that makes sense. Got
There you go. There
All
you
right, I figured out my phrase.
go. What's your phrase?
Got you.
Got you. Got you. I got you. So, not only was John reputable for not following all the laws and stuff,
No, he was an upstanding citizen. Don't be knocking my relatives.
there's going to be a lot of things explained
Okay.
of what I've had to put up with over the last 20 years. And jokingly, I've always said it is the Down syndrome.
Yes, but
Not making fun of
fun,
anything,
no.
just making fun of Deanna's last name, maiden name.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Eleanor, or Ellen, in June of 1636, was found guilty of the treacherous crime of slander.
She was mouthy?
She
Are
was-
you saying she's mouthy?
Who would have thought that?
Man, somebody claimed that I'm mouthy too.
Not me. Why are you looking at me like
Well,
that?
because it was you.
Oh,
Why do you have to be so mouthy? Why can't you just sit there and be quiet?
that was the wrong thing for me to say.
Anyway,
So, yeah, she was guilty of slander and sentenced. And I loved how the old English people wrote, and I'll explain it after I read this
Okay.
quote. She was sentenced to be stripped of clothing, set in the stocks, and whipped, plus pay a £5 fine.
they did that to women back then?
Apparently, because it was in quotes.
Oh, wow. Talk about wanting to degrade her.
They wanted her to feel the whipping. They didn't want her to go home and put on extra clothing, so they wanted to.
Yeah, but to strip a woman being stripped naked.
Well, look at the Salem witch trials. They were, well,
Okay.
yeah. Anyway,
Oh, whatever. But I'm just saying that is wow.
and so the quote that I just read, how I was saying I loved the spelling back then. Stripped was STRIPT. Whipped was WHIPT.
Okay.
And when it said set in stock, in the stocks, set was SETT. I just thought it was kind of cool how they
Yeah. the
how
spelling.
things have changed.
Yeah.
It is unknown how the Billingtons became associated with the Mayflower or the passengers. John was oft punished, OFT, oft, basically now often.
Often.
Yeah.
No way.
He was oft
I don't know
punished.
why they picking on my family.
Yeah. Not only did he commit the first murder in the new colony, he also committed the first crime in the new colony, being charged with contempt of the captain's lawful command. He was ordered to have his neck and heels tied together backwards. So he sat on his knees, tied his heels up, and tied it up to his neck.
Now, why did they do that to him, this precious man?
Because he was charged with contempt of the captain's lawful command.
Oh, he's trying to go against what the captain is saying.
Yeah, again, shocker.
They are opinionated,
I'm preaching to the choir, sister.
and you know, if they think somebody is stupid enough not to follow their opinion, they're just going to take over.
Right. Exactly. Now, this
Just what?
I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. Raunchiness did not just stop with mom and dad.
Raunchy? Now, that has a lot of different definitions.
Okay, unwillingness to obey the laws. Are free thinkers. How about I'll call it that for your family.
Rebellious.
Yes.
Headstrong.
Could very well be.
There's a lot of words we could use.
That's right. On December the 5th of 1620, while the Mayflower was docked at what is now near Cape Cod, young Francis, the youngest son, got one of his dad's guns and shot it off on the Mayflower.
Like he was on the boat?
Near a barrel of gunpowder.
Great thinker.
Yeah, not really. A fire started, which, and this again is in quotes, could have been devastating, but through God's mercy, it was quickly put out.
Was he on top of it or down below?
No, it was on top.
Okay.
He almost burned down the Mayflower.
Which was technically their only transportation.
Yeah. So, thanks, Frank.
Francis. His name was Francis.
I'm surprised you didn't, when our son was born, you didn't say, we're going to name him Francis or John.
No. That's old school. And who names their kids Francis nowadays?
We're
in Texas. We're redneck people, man.
I know.
And his name's Samuel. We ain't too redneck.
What's his middle name?
Imani.
Yeah, we're in Texas.
Hey.
We're in Texas, but we give our son an Iranian middle name.
Yes, because I promised that I would to our good friend Chad. So.
Hey, Chad. I know you don't listen to this, but hey, Chad. At the beginning of January of either 1620 or 1621.
They're unsure.
Unsure. Francis went out exploring. This is pretty cool.
Francis is, I like him. He's just going to, do whatever he wants.
He gets about 3 miles away from Plymouth, climbs up a tree, and discovers a great sea.
Oh my gosh, there's a whole body of water. I wonder if that's what we came in on.
No, it wasn't. Oh. He discovered it. I mean, nobody had seen it.
Oh, okay.
However,
oh gosh,
that great sea turned out to be 2 ponds.
That sounds like family.
But this is the cool part. To this day, those ponds are called Billington's Sea.
Oh, I want to go.
We will go there someday. I'll take you.
Awesome.
This would not be too far from that other podcast that we have quickly fallen in love with, the Box of Oddities, where they're at. We need to go see them and go see the...
Maybe we should contact them.
Jethro, Kat, if y'all ever hear this, first of all, we love y'all's podcast. If anybody is looking for another podcast, husband and wife duo, listen to all of our episodes first, but then go check out the Box of Oddities.
Yes, they are really cool, down to earth.
They're hilarious. It turned out to be 2 ponds.
And I want to see Stephen King's house.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's refocus.
Still called Billington Sea today.
That's something I really didn't know.
Yeah, so I taught you something. Yay. All right, so let's look at John Billington Jr. for just a second.
Oh, no, he was the sweet one.
Okay. He became lost while exploring the woods alone in June of 1621. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
1621, lost in the woods.
In July of 1621. I said June, but it was July of 1621.
July. I mean, there's Indians or Native Americans, indigenous people, whatever the social norm is to be called today.
He survived 5 days on eating berries and anything else he could find.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah,
Survival.
Give him his kudos.
Yes. At 16, you would have thought that he was ready for his own home and wife and stuff.
He never married.
Oh, maybe he's a eunuch. I'm just kidding. No.
Why
did he not marry? This is curious.
He was found and cared for by local Native Americans / indigenous people, whatever they're called.
See, they're not all that bad.
The 10 pilgrim men traveled to the area near Cape Cod today to retrieve him because the Indians were like, "Come get him. Take him off our hands."
See, I like this story way better than the one that I have read and understood.
What was it you were always told?
No, I wasn't told. What I had looked up, that he was basically kidnapped by the native indigenous people, and they returned him. And I'm like, dude, for one, returning people because you don't want to start a war, yes, and you can't understand what anybody's saying, yes, but then you think, oh my gosh, was he that bad of a person that they were like, dude, we don't want him?
Just get him.
Yeah, like we will pack him full of lunch. You just come get him.
Right.
So that's the one that I had read.
Yeah.
Before.
Now, and he did come home with several beads.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. We need to find those in the family jewels somewhere.
Yeah, those are long gone.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Knowing his parents.
Right. So, like I said, John never married. Francis married a woman named Christian. And they're behemoth of children. They're a list of children.
Why are you calling them behemoth?
No, well, I meant just big, like long. They had several kids.
Okay, because behemoth means they can be terrible offspring, or they're unusually large people.
Ah, okay, well.
That was my understanding.
His large amount of children.
Okay, he had a plethora of offspring.
That is actually the word I was looking for, plethora. All right,
They
so.
needed TV.
Children of Francis and Christian.
Okay.
And this first one got a funny little story with it.
Okay.
Elizabeth Billington.
Aww.
She passed away in 1709, but when I was doing my research, my brain went to 1907. I was like, holy crap, she lived from the 1600s to 1900? What in the world? It was 1709.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So other children. There was Elizabeth, Joseph, Martha, Mary, Isaac, and then one that didn't live long enough and only name was Child. Child Billington, Rebecca, Dorcas, and Mercy. So on to John Sr.
Okay.
The man.
The legend.
He was regularly involved in disputes and civil disobedience.
No, they lied.
They made everything up.
They did.
He didn't even kill that man.
Nope.
Which possibly he did not.
Oh.
We'll get into that. He was accused of secretly supporting local dissenters who were sending political letters back to England. These were written to undermine the new colony. The letters that he was...
That he was helping to send back?
Right. And secretly writing and supporting.
John could write?
Apparently.
Well, yeah, he could sign his name. Oh my gosh, I'm so...
Didn't he sign the Mayflower Compact?
With an X. No, actually, it has his name on it. John Billington. So he was smart. Sounds like a little bit of a con man, but he was supposedly working with the dissenters or the rebellion people.
You're trying to tell me that somebody that is in your family tree was rebellious?
Yes. Told you there's a long line of like...
Oh.
I told you.
I was, in teaches on honor or whatever. Defense, thank you. Where are my words today?
Sleeping.
I guess. She did warned me all this, and I still put the ring on her finger and said I do. So
I did. I warned you. And you can see it down the family tree.
oh, it's still running down through today.
It is. I think it's rained in a lot, though.
Quite a bit. On a different occasion, he was also implicated in the Oldham Lyford scandal, which was a revolt against the rule of the Plymouth Church.
Okay, what was the rule of the Plymouth Church?
Well, I mean, they were the government, the church, the governing body. They, you know.
That's how I thought it meant, like the religious part of, like the church.
Yeah, no. But he was never officially punished. He was just implicated.
Implicated.
Yeah.
Oh, so.
And it was probably more like,
name.
you know, that John Billington, he's into everything. I bet you he's also into this.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like, scapegoated.
Why they got to pick on him.
This is what I'm saying. Poor dude. He was just innocent, hardworking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying. You got to eat somehow.
You know.
He wasn't a bum.
And a lot of credit for even surviving that first winter.
Exactly.
That not a lot of people did. And surviving the trip over on the Mayflower. Mm-hmm. That's just mind-blowing that anybody was able to survive that.
Yep.
I just thought of this.
What?
Your descendants knew Christopher Columbus. Possibly.
Don't think so.
Possibly. He had a better chance than we did.
Okay.
You got to give me that one.
Okay, I will give you that one, and then we will put a timeline to this, and then you can figure out if my relatives knew Christopher Columbus, like they were best buds.
Well, no, I'm just saying like an acquaintance. Like, you know, I know... Well, for wrestling fans, back in the day, I shook hands with Dick Murdoch. Didn't mean I ever went to his house or nothing.
Okay.
Maybe he saw him at the pub one time. And
right.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even know how to spell it.
Columbus, Columbus.
Okay.
Columbus. I think that's right. Sounds right.
Sounds right.
So, on to the murder.
Okay.
The victim in the murder. Oh, yeah. I just saw a note Teach wrote. Never mind. I bet you he did not know Chris Columbus. So, strike that.
Yeah. I'm thinking Mr. Columbus was already passed away, but... If it wouldn't have been for Christopher Columbus, nobody would have tried to sail over.
Hello.
So, but Columbus got in the wrong area. But still, I want to say he led the way for others to come exploring.
Exactly. So, the victim in the first murder, the first man murdered in the new colony, John Newcomen. So John shot John.
Oh.
And his last name may be more of a reference to his status as a newcomer of Plymouth rather than as a surname.
Then his actual
Newcomen.
Oh, okay.
Newcomen.
Oh.
Yeah. September of 1630, Newcomen and Billington had been quarreling over land.
Okay.
While out hunting, Billington shot and killed Newcomen.
Okay.
Billington tried to say it was accidental, that Newcomen was hiding in trees, and he thought it was a deer. Although the deer was standing up on its hind legs, walking around, and other people said they heard him say, "Don't shoot me."
Oh.
Deer today can't talk. Maybe back then they could. I don't know.
That'd be really creepy. Even today's standards of deer walking around on their hind legs.
Right.
Yelling, "Don't shoot me."
Right. So Governor William Bradford.
Yeah.
Ever heard of that?
Yeah,
Him?
I have.
And this is just a portion of the quote that he wrote about the murder.
Okay.
"He ought to die, and the land purged from his blood. He and some of his, meaning his family, I'm guessing, had been oft punished for miscarriages against the law before, being one of the profanest families. Fact was that he waylaid the young man, one John Newcomen, and shot him with a gun, whereof he died.
Okay. That's one man's opinion.
One man's opinion. After he was found guilty, Billington made a plea for his life by saying, "For want of people to increase the population, my life should be spared." Well, you're trying to grow the land. Why are you going to kill me?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. Poor guy.
Either on September 30th or October 1st, 1630, Billington was hung in Plymouth.
Wow. Okay, does it say, like, what kind of arguments these people had? The Newcomen and Billington? Like, what
Land.
Over land, okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Newcomen was trying to take some of Billington's land. Billington wasn't having any of it.
Why was he trying to take his land?
He said that it was promised to him. And he was saying that Billington's land stopped at point A and his started at point B. And Billington was saying, no, my land doesn't stop there. It stops over here. Well, no, that's part of my land. No. And so that's what the big argument was about, was where their land. And so instead of going and getting officials involved, they just...
Okay, well, it's a different story than I've grown up to know.
Okay, what'd you hear?
So apparently this Newcomen had some farm animals that would go over and partake of Billington's land, and he got tired of it and told him to keep his animals on his side, and it didn't happen, so Newcomen was shot over a pig.
While I was sitting here reading this, I was thinking, seemed like I remember being something about a pig.
Yeah, but again, I mean, it literally could have been, it's a land dispute no matter what is involved, because it's like, this is my land, you need to stay off. No, according to the deeds or whatever they had back then, this is mine.
Yeah.
So instead of putting up a fence, let's just shoot each other.
Yeah.
But it could have been over animals, it could have been over...
the land itself.
Yeah, it could have been over anything. I would like to know.
It seems like Mr. Billington was going to just argue no matter what.
Yes. Yes, he was. It was rightfully his. He staked it out to begin with.
He was there first. Newcomen.
Exactly. And where did this Newcomen get his land from?
Wasn't they promised land if they came over?
Yeah, but who decided what land and where?
I would guess that that Governor Bradford, who really, really loved your great-great-great-great-great-grandpa. Just, they were partners. They had tea together.
They were best buds.
Yeah.
They go out all the time and play
cricket,
Ouija board together a lot.
That was about 200 years away, but
hey, you and the
that's what we could use the Ouija board for. No, talk to Billington.
No, we can't. That's like you saying that the Billingtons knew Christopher Columbus.
Okay, it's early. Okay.
Okay, I got you. Okay, anyway.
All right. Another historian, he was one of the early colonists from Devon, England, named Thomas Morton. He was a lawyer and writer, had this quote in the New English Canaan.
Okay.
And before I say this, read this, when it talks about old woodman, it's talking about Billington.
Was he a woodman? Mm-hmm. What is a woodman? Don't say they work with wood.
Goes out and clears trees, builds cabins for cabins. And,
really? Huh. Okay.
The old woman, nope, scratch that. The old woodman was choked at Plymouth after he played the unhappy marksman when he was pursued by a careless fellow that was new come into the land.
Aww.
So, I love the wording back then. Old Woodman was choked. He was hung. At Plymouth after he played the unhappy marksman, missed his shot, when he was pursued by a careless fellow that was new come into the land. John Newcomen. So, to wrap this up, famous descendants of John Billington.
Yes. Who am I related to?
I found two.
Two of them. Oh, yes. Who?
Two celebrities.
I'm even more famous.
You're even more famous now.
Yeah.
Actor Richard Gere.
Ooh.
You're related. Reel it in.
Distant relation.
Reel it in.
Distant.
And somebody who is a new fan of football.
Okay.
Taylor Swift.
No way. I'm related. How? Did it say?
It didn't say.
Doesn't matter. We're related. It all traces back to John Billington. So I'm famous. I'm going to reach out to Taylor Swift and say, hey.
Hey, cuz.
Hey, cuz.
It didn't say on Taylor how she, but on Richard Gere, Billington is his 10 times great-grandfather.
Okay.
So.
And apparently it wasn't through John Jr., which I don't know about that. I don't know that.
Yeah, I never saw it. I read, well, let's see. Let me look at my bibliography. 1, 2, 3, 4 articles about this, and nothing ever said anything about him ever marrying or having kids. So, and I watched a couple.
Well, that narrows down the lineage.
So maybe it's through Francis with all the 9
that's
kids.
where I'm at.
Through
It's
Francis.
through Francis, yeah.
Well, actually, on Taylor's, it did say John Billington Sr. and Francis Billington, both. So,
well,
I guess
okay,
if she's related to one, you're going to be related to the other.
Yeah, and logically, if John Jr. didn't have a wife and kids, then it's only through Francis that this could be. Okay, but also then you have to think, was it on Eleanor's or was it on John Billington's side? So what was Eleanor's maiden name?
True. I don't know that anybody knows that because they don't even know where they came from or even how they got to board the Mayflower.
There's some records somewhere that states how this happened because they just didn't just let people on the boat.
No, there was one deal that said it's unsure, but it may have been a business dealing of some sort. So, yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
But either way, it's traced down.
It is.
So
you're a Swiftie by blood.
Yeah. She's got some really good songs. So.
Does she?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, my bibliography. Mayflower.americanancestors.org, famous descendants. History.com, who was the first convicted murderer in America. The Mayflowersociety.org, passenger profile, the Billington family.
Them people should know.
And Mayflower400UK.org, America's first murderer was executed for killing fellow Plymouth settler. And it was either that last one, the Mayflower400UK.org or the Mayflowersociety.org. I believe it's the Mayflowersociety.org. On their website, if you can prove that you're a descendant, then you can join the Mayflower Society. So I was going to tell you that also.
Oh my gosh! All I have is like my whatever book that is. Has the crest on it, but we are related to the Billingtons. And it's still like Is it the wife's side, or is it because at some point in time it's gone through the downs?
Sure. Somehow it got from Billington to Downs.
Yeah, somewhere down the line. So it was thought that it was actually through the wife that we were related. But it really doesn't matter. It's still,
yeah, you could
that
still...
blood still, carries down. And I'm on Ancestry.com. Like, I've got my little tree going, and...
Boom.
Yeah, so it's on there. There's people on there, and I'm like, what?
That is so cool.
Wish I had the time to actually trace it and do it all back, but...
Maybe after you get your master's, you can slow down a bit and do it.
Maybe.
Knowing you'll probably go after your doctorate.
No, I don't really think that.
That's the exact same thing that you told me after you got your bachelor's degree. Oh, so you're going to go for your master's now? No, I never thought I'd get my bachelor's. I got my bachelor's. I'm happy.
And then we're moving to Kyle, so, higher ability.
Absolutely. Dr. Deanna.
No.
Do I have to start calling you Master Deanna when you get your master's degree?
Creepy? No.
Mistress. All right.
Mistress?
Mistress Deanna.
Yeah, no, dude. No, put your whoops in leather back up.
Never get to do what I want to do. All right, teach. So what was my grade this week?
I'd have to give you an A on this.
Yay.
I love this kind of stuff. I love history, so this was right up my alley. And you did a really good job because I learned new things. So
yay, I'm happy.
Absolutely. So, hey, any Billington relatives out there that can do genealogy stuff or please contact me, because I just don't have the patience to actually do the whole thing. And then I could get my book and then we could compare. That's what would be cool.
So if there is anybody listening that knows that they are traced back to the Billington family, you can reach out to us. We have a Facebook page, Hard Lessons, True Crime, and Paranormal Podcast.
I think we need to lower that to just
maybe change
hard
it just
lessons.
Well, but there's different Hard Lessons podcasts like business.
Hard Lessons, True Crime.
Maybe I'll just shorten it to... You know what? Look for Hard Lessons True Crime.
Yes.
Send us a message. We're on Instagram, Hard Lessons TCP. Send us a message there.
I like the TCP. You should just narrow it down to TCP.
I didn't want to look like I was copying our daughter, because she's the one that came up with that one. And she's way more brilliant than I am.
Smart. Why not?
Okay.
Anyway, so Instagram, Hard Lessons TCP.
Name change coming up on Facebook page.
Yeah, maybe that's why there's not a whole lot of listeners, just because we are confusing.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Teach is going to draw for next week's episode.
Where's my drum roll, man? Yay! My absolute favorite.
Another true crime. See, we didn't do true crime for a while. And we was like, man, we need to start doing true crime. And yes, Teach really did draw true crime.
I did. One of these days, we will actually go on YouTube. We should start YouTube videoing it. And then people can see that I'm really drawing.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Hey, class. Hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving. And we will see you next week with another new episode.
What episode was this?
This was episode number 15.
You didn't even say that.
I didn't say that at the beginning. You know what that means?
That's points off, man.
Oh, no. This was episode 16.
16.
So you know what that means?
No.
This is our 4-month anniversary.
Way! We made it to 4 months.
Yay.
Okay, so that's points off.
Okay,
You did not say
B
what.
plus
You didn't say what
episode number.
we were on. Shame on you.
So back down to B plus.
Nah, I'll keep it at an A. Honest mistake.
Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. make memories.
But they already had Thanksgiving. Oh, I'm sorry. Happy holidays. Class is dismissed.